Hello and welcome to EFD, where today we're looking at how to turn Arsenal into something resembling a top side again. Though the Gunners have competed for the Europa League and a top 4 spot in Unai Emery's first year in charge, their squad is still bloated with underperforming players, while behind the scenes discord between the management team has seen head of recruitment Sven Mislintat leave after just a year with the club. So how can North London's biggest club return to the summit of domestic and continental football? 5. Sell Mesut. Another summer, another set of newspapers claiming that Arsenal's transfer budget will be just £45 million. So far, so unsurprising, but this time it's pretty clear that that's not true. In 2018, the press told us exactly the same thing, but the Gunners ended up with a net outlay of around £68 million. Since then, they've added a £10 million a year sleeve sponsorship with Visit Rwanda, while a kit deal with Adidas will see them earn £60 million a season, up from £30 million, not to mention the possibility of Champions League football boosting their coffers. The bigger problem is not the money in the bank, but the amount tied up in wages. Arsenal have a badly built squad whose salaries cost them an insane £223 million annually, £75 million more than Spurs and only £40 million less than City. And while the departures of Ramsey, Cech, Welbeck, Jenkinson and Lichtensteiner this summer will help, the bigger issue is Mesut Ozil, who accounts for a massive £18 million of the total, despite having started just 19 league games at the time of writing. In that time, the German has contributed 5 goals and 2 assists and is creating just 2.3 chances per 90 this season, down from 3.5 last season and a Europe high 4.3 3 years ago. That's not good enough for such a wage sink, and though Ozil is likely to age better than more pace-reliant players, at 30 his best years are behind him. He also lacks the pressing ability Emery wants from his forwards, with the only players in the squad making fewer tackles and interceptions per game, Petr Cech and Bernd Leno. So a mobile presser who can both create and contribute in defence should be on Arsenal's shopping list this summer, if they can find someone to take on their World Cup winners' astronomical pay packet. Our shout is Ajax's Hakim Ziyech, who at the time of writing has produced 32 goals and assists across 36 starts in the Eredivisie and Champions League, while winning possession around 3.5 times a game for his side, about the same as Matteo Guendouzi. The Moroccan can also move the ball forward, averaging an amazing 4 dribbles a game in the Champions League, despite Ajax facing Bayern, Real Madrid and Juventus. And with a rumoured price tag of just £25 million, the 26-year-old will be the perfect replacement for Arsenal's forgotten superstar. 4. Buy a left-back. While Mesut Ozil has endured a disappointing campaign in front of goal, Bosnian powerhouse Sead Kolasinac has had an amazing creative season, ranking 7th in the Prem for expected assists per 90, ahead of Salah, Eriksen and James Maddison, and the top defender in the division. However, the former Schalke man is clearly more wing-back than full-back, with under 3 tackles and interceptions a game. And while Nacho Monreal is a full-back, the Spaniard has seen as many starts at centre-half as on the flank. And at 33, he's not exactly equipped for the rigours of the role. On the other side, Hector Bellerin is out injured until around October 2019 with a knee injury, depriving Emery of an outlet and creativity on the right. So the coach would be well advised to make a strong, quick, young left-back a summer priority, ideally bringing in a player who can pair defensive solidity with healthy ball progression. The ideal candidate, Leicester's Ben Chilwell, is probably out of Arsenal's price range, so their best option might be Celtic's Kieran Tierney, who may even be more talented than his English counterpart. Tierney is still just 21, would count as homegrown, and has an already impressive trophy cabinet, boasting 7 domestic trophies, with another 2 likely to come his way at the end of the current season. Reportedly available for £25 to £30 million, the Scot can also feature at centre-half, allowing Emery to cycle between a back 4 and a back 3. And he's been named the SPFL's PFA Young Player of the Year the last 3 seasons, the only impediment to a 4th consecutive triumph being an injury-hit 2018-19 season, which has seen him miss almost half of Celtic's league matches. This year, Tierney has averaged around 4 tackles and interceptions a game across the SPFL and Europa League, and is a physical mismatch for most forwards he faces, completing a massive 85% of the challenges he attempts thanks to his athleticism and anticipation. That speed makes him an attacking threat too, with 2 chances created per 90 as well as a couple of dribbles. And in fact, the Isle of Man-born defender gets the ball into the final third nearly 8 times a match, an insane number which topped Trent Alexander-Arnold's 6.8 a match, though admittedly that's in a much tougher league. Fitness permitting, Tierney would lock down Arsenal's left-back slot for the next decade, making even a big fee a sensible investment. And after conceding over 100 league goals in the last 2 campaigns, the backline needs all the help it can get. 3. Buy a centre-back. To be honest with you, Arsenal need more than one centre-half this summer, but there's a limit to what they can do in one window. Besides, the fact that the club has stayed in the top four despite Mustafi being their most used defender suggests that the right signing could revolutionise their fortunes in the 1920 season. This is the time to go for the right person, not the cheap person. And while plenty of young centre-halves have been linked with the switch to the Emirates, arguably the most highly rated of all is RB Leipzig's Dayot Upamecano, who combines smart reading of the game with a dominant physical presence. The Frenchman, who joined in 2017 from Red Bull Salzburg, is not 21 until October 2019, but is closing in on 100 senior appearances, while he also boasts a medal from the Under-17 European Championships, where he was named in the team of the tournament. In the 5 years since that triumph, he's played in the Champions League with two different sides and thrived in one of the world's toughest leagues as a teenager, attracting interest from Man United and Barcelona. However, Upamecano has had a quiet season, playing only around 1,200 minutes in the Bundesliga, while fellow Frenchman Konate has racked up over 2,200. That might make Leipzig willing to part with the older defender, and his passing indicates that he'd fit nicely into the Arsenal rearguard. With 50 passes completed each game, he's 12 ahead of Konate, and only behind midfielders Campbell and Deme in the RB squad, while his tally of 3 accurate long balls a match is third at the club, behind keeper Galatsky and Deme again. Upamecano makes roughly as many tackles and interceptions per 90 as fellow centre-backs Willy Orban and Konate, around 3.5, but fouls less often than both of them, and is almost never dribble pass, completing 85% of his tackles this season. That's up from an already impressive 80% in 17-18. And in the air, the youngster is no less intimidating, his 62% win rate on aerial duels climbing to 66% this term. With De Ligt out of their price range, Upamecano is probably the best young defender that Arsenal could get this year. If they can prize him out of East Germany, they could at long last have a worthy successor to Laurent Koscielny. 2. Forget Ramsey. For the second year in a row, Arsenal fans face losing a star for next to nothing, with Aaron Ramsey set to leave on a free after over 350 appearances in North London. But as upsetting as that may be, the Welshman has been less reliable than ever for the Gunners this season. 14 players have made more league starts for Arsenal than Ramsey in 18-19, and for a player who the papers would have us believe is crucial, he's played remarkably few minutes, and will end the campaign with less time on the field than Hector Bellerin, who was sat out the second half of the season after rupturing his ACL in January. All this, coupled with the fact that he turns 29 in December, makes it understandable that Arsenal rescinded their offer for a contract in excess of £200,000 a week, with Juve, who locked the former Cardiff player down for a reported £350,000 a week, better equipped to deal with the inevitable injury problems. But Arsenal must be careful not to fall into the trap of seeking a like-for-like replacement. For all his undoubted talent, Ramsey has turned into a problem player over the last 4 years at the Emirates. His attacking contribution seems exceptional because the popular perception is that Ramsey is a centre mid, but he does very little of the work normally expected of a midfielder, explaining why Emery and Wenger have tried him as a number 10 and even on the right wing. Under 3 defensive actions a game and less than 1 dribble mean that Ramsey is neither a strong defender nor a good ball carrier, and Arsenal need both, with Iwobi the only player in the squad completing more than 2 dribbles per 90. Finding all of this in Arsenal's price range is no small task, but Ismail Benacer at Empoli seems like the ideal candidate. The Algerian is an exceptional dribbler, ranking 9th among all under-25 midfielders in Europe for completed take-ons per game, racking up 2 a match. And with a Moussa Dembele's 81% success rate, he far outranks other mobile young mids, like Tango and Dembele on 73%. Benacer also makes the top 25 in Europe for tackles and interceptions per 90, winning around 4.5, the same as West Ham's Declan Rice, but with fewer missed tackles, and he can distribute too, maintaining an extremely strong 86% pass accuracy and hitting 4.5 accurate long balls a game. And the best part of it all, Benacer is just 21 years old and came through Arsenal's academy, meaning that Emery can bring him back to the Emirates for a reported £10 million this summer. The Gunners may have made a speciality of doing the stupid thing in the transfer market, but surely even they have to jump on this opportunity. 1. Add pace in wide areas. Wenger's best sides were characterised by physical dominance, and though old-school pundits like to focus on strength, speed is arguably even more important. During Wenger's final years at the club, injuries to Oxlade-Chamberlain and Walcott often made Arsenal ponderous and predictable in attack, and though the personnel have changed, the situation remains the same under Emery. As technically gifted as players like Lacazette, Iwobi and Ozil are, the only real speed merchants in the team are Bellerin, Aubameyang and Maitland-Niles, only one of whom is a forward. Arsenal need an outlet, but their wide players prefer to come inside and play-make, hence Emery's reliance on attacking wing-backs this year. That approach has seen Bellerin and Kolasinac earn 10 assists between them, but left the Gunners as defensively unsound as they were under Wenger, meaning that a lightning-quick winger will not just help the attack, but stabilise the defence. The perfect pair would be Memphis Depay, but he would wipe out most of the summer budget, and David Neres, while brilliant, is not quite quick enough. So Arsenal could turn their attentions to Villarreal's Samuel Chukwueze, a rumoured target, or our pick Leon Bailey of Bayer Leverkusen. A down year in Germany means that Bailey's valuation is probably lower than last summer, when he had scored 9 and assisted 6 in the Bundesliga. But while the 21-year-old has only been involved in 6 league goals this season, his underlying stats predict a big upturn in the near future, with expected goals suggesting he should have closer to 9 goal contributions. That means that the Jamaican is expected to score or assist every other game despite his young age. And with around 3 years before he hits his peak, his tally of 3 shots and 2 key passes per match shows there is a lot to work with. The arrival of Peter Bosz at Leverkusen has turbocharged Die Werksel's frontline, and Bailey has improved hugely as a dribbler this season, going from 2.3 completed take-ons a match last season to 2.5 a match this year. That may sound like a small change, but Bailey's success rate has skyrocketed from 49% to 69%, meaning he is less wasteful and more incisive, exactly what a possession side needs. Regardless of whether they end up in the Champions League or the Europa, the 18-19 season has made it clear that the Gunners need a lot of investment to be a good side once again, and it may take multiple windows to get there. But with Ziyech, Tierney, Benacer, Upamecano and Bailey, Arsenal would have a better XI, a better squad and a better future. So that was our scout report on how to improve Arsenal this summer. What did you guys think of our suggestions? Let us know in the comments down below. If you've enjoyed this, go check out Friday's Continental Club and yesterday's Stat Wars the League, and I'll see you next time.